Well, if you watch the OU Texas Tech game, first of all, if you're an OU fan and you watched that, hope you had some Rolaids by your side once the clock struck all zeros, or once you knew that the game was over after Texas Tech recovered that onside kick to run out the clock after that. Sickening for Oklahoma, who played so well 2 weeks ago against Texas, and then to put that up 2 weeks later at home as a 29-point favorite in what will probably be known as the most shocking OU loss in recent memory, if not in all history, for the Crimson and Cream. To see this happen, to say it's shocking, that's not a strong enough adjective. I guess before I go any further, congrats to Texas Tech. Certainly better than the 4-2 record in the last 2 weeks that you showed. A lot better team than that, as what we've seen recently, and it showed in Norman. Congrats to my former high school football teammate, Chad Glasgow, who's a defensive coordinator at Tech. Chad, how could you? Break Sooner hearts. Certainly the Texas Tech defense wasn't great, but at times made the plays. And for Texas Tech, other than their victory over Texas when the Longhorns were #1 3 years ago, probably the biggest win in the history of that program. And they definitely, make no mistake about it, deserve to win this game. It wasn't a fluke, because they played hungrier. They didn't just come to Norman to make a decent showing on a Saturday night. They came to win. And Tommy Tuberville, there's a reason why they call him the Riverboat Gambler, because they played aggressive and at times went for it when other teams would just punt or kick a field goal. They did not come into this game just hoping to cover the point spread, which was 29. They came into this game thinking about a victory, and they got it. And they definitely outplayed Oklahoma on both sides of the ball on Saturday night. So for the Sooners, national championship hopes gone. The 39-game home winning streak gone. And by the way, I do applaud Oklahoma these last 6 years for that 39-game home winning streak, in all seriousness, because that's something special, and that's something that 6 straight Oklahoma teams, I guess 5 straight from 06 to 2010, were able to accomplish. Going undefeated at home, that's something that Sooner fans should be proud of and never take lightly. And yeah, streaks are meant to come to an end, but there's no way on God's green earth did we ever think that this streak was going to end against Texas Tech. No disrespect to the Red Raiders, because again, they deserve to win the game. But the Sooners, maybe it was getting caught looking ahead to Manhattan, I don't know. But using excuses, I'm not going to, because Tech deserved to win the game. Some people are going to say, well, the Sooners didn't have Jamel Fleming, didn't have Dominic Whaley because of stomach issues, didn't have Tom Wart because of concussion issues. I think the Sooners were without a defensive lineman. You know what? I say poo-poo to all that. LSU today against Auburn, the Tigers were without 3 key players. 2 of them were secondary players. 1 was a stud running back. It didn't matter, because LSU said, we're still going to beat Auburn, and we're still going to beat them soundly, and that's what happened. And that's what championship teams do. They overcome adversity and excel from it and are better for it. And the Sooners, with their adversity, you know what? You're the better team. You're a championship team. You win games like this without some of your players. No excuses. None whatsoever. And some are going to say, well, the weather delay hurt Oklahoma because they had to wait for 90 minutes. You know what? So did Texas Tech, and they were the road team. So I don't want to hear about the weather delay being an excuse, because it's all said and done. You start the game 0-0. Both teams have to play on the same field, and both teams have to deal with that weather issue. Have to deal with the delay. That's not why Oklahoma lost this game. Now, you really have to give props to Texas Tech, and even though their ground game tonight may not have been just flat out stellar, it was good enough to where Oklahoma just couldn't sell out to the pass. And Seth Doege tonight looked like Dan Marino, because of the fact that he was not only getting rid of the ball quick and effectively, he threw over 420 yards tonight, but also he wasn't getting touched a lot of the night. And by the time Oklahoma did get to him, the Red Raiders had a sizable lead. And I do give Oklahoma credit for coming back and making it a competitive game, because at one point it's 31-7 Texas Tech in the third quarter. So again, I'm at a complete loss for words. To say that I'm shocked right now would be the biggest understatement. And for the Sooners, you wonder what their psyche is going to be like for next week when they go to Manhattan against a Kansas State team that now knows that Oklahoma is beatable. I'm not so sure if they knew the Sooners were beatable before Saturday night against Tech. Now they know, and they probably smell Sooner blood. For the Sooners, I don't exactly know how they overcome this mentally and emotionally, but they have to find a way, and they only have a few days to do that. And I believe that game is going to be at 2:30 on ESPN on October 29th. I might have said ABC on my previous report. I think it's going to be on ESPN. But regardless, the Sooners have to try to overcome this if they still hope to have a successful year. Let's go ahead and quickly highlight the 4 keys of the game that I talked about on the weekly matchup show. Number 1, OU run, run, run. I'm going to go C. I thought Roy Finch played his heart out tonight. I think he had about 7 yards a carry. If there was one guy I thought gave his all for Oklahoma, it was number 22, Roy Finch. And there were probably some other Sooners who gave their all as well. But Roy, to me, it just looked like he left everything on the field. So I do give him props. It might be human nature to second-guess Oklahoma as far as they should have ran the ball more. No question they probably should have. I think they only ran it 25 times on this evening, so I can't give them a grade higher than C. Key number 2, this was the biggest key in the game. Get in Gahey's grill. Seth Doege, the Texas Tech quarterback, an F. For the most part, they didn't do that. And give the Texas Tech coaching staff credit. They saw a weakness in the Sooner secondary because Fleming didn't play tonight because of the knee that he had minor surgery on previously. Gabe Lynn played that spot and got tortured. Didn't matter what side of the field Gabe Lynn was on. Texas Tech absolutely took advantage of those one-on-one matchups. And that was a big reason why Texas Tech won this game, was because of the passing game by the Red Raider attack. Seth Doege was absolutely on his game, and Alex Torres, who hurt Oklahoma 2 years ago, hurt him tonight even more with 3 TD catches. Key number 3 in this game, OU improve on the red zone, try to get touchdowns instead of field goals. Again, this is an issue. I'm going to go a solid C. They did get a couple of touchdowns inside the 20, but late in the third quarter with OU down 31-14, second goal from about the 2, and they lose yardage on that running play. In fact, they almost lost the ball. But the point is that the Sooners had to settle for a field goal there, and then trying to come back in the fourth quarter, about 3 minutes to go, down by 10. The one that was the dagger in OU's back, the missed field goal by Honeycutt. He had 2 misses. We'll talk more about that on key number 4. But the Sooners were not completely opportunistic in the red zone. Hey, what's new? And then key number 4, advanced special teams. This is a D for the Sooners. Giving up a good-sized kickoff return to start the game. That would lead to a Texas Tech touchdown. And then the 2 missed field goals by Honeycutt. And again, the Sooners looked like they had the field goal issue resolved. Nope. Maybe they go back to Stevens. Maybe Honeycutt keeps his job. Maybe they can get a walk-on to come kick. Either way you look at it, it's a big problem for Oklahoma. And by this time next year, I hope they fix it. Field goal kicking, just when you think they've got it taken care of, it becomes another issue, like it did on this evening. And Tressway did not punt particularly well tonight for the Sooners. So, Texas Tech, congratulations. Not just beating OU and ending the winning streak, but showing that, you know what, just because you might have lost a couple of games entering a big game doesn't mean that you have to lie down. Texas Tech wanted it more, and that's really about as much as you can say. And for the Sooners, we're going to find out mentally and emotionally what they're made of in Manhattan, Kansas, because in that one you won't have your fans backing you up. You're going to be entering a very hostile environment at KSU. Final score again, Tech pulls off one of the biggest upsets in a long time. 41-38, they defeat Oklahoma. Boomer Sooner.